Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So I will be doing a breakdown of the new Cayo Perico DLC trailer, and unfortunately I cannot include my reaction because I originally had a reaction in this video, and this is actually my second time uploading this now. I originally uploaded it before it was published, and I had gotten a copyright claim from Take-Two Interactive. It was a visual copyright claim, so even if I mute the audio, I'm still going to get a claim. And you would think that if YouTubers are reacting to your DLC trailer, they're reacting to your new content in your game, they're promoting your game, you wouldn't give them copyright claims, but that's not the way Take-Two sees it. So unfortunately, I can't have the trailer playing in this, but I do have a breakdown of the whole trailer. I have pictures and everything, and I will be talking about my thoughts on it. So let's go into this. I hope that you guys enjoy it and find this video helpful. Okay, so let's start breaking this down. So in the first part of the trailer, we see this scene of looks like two brand new characters, and looks like they're boarding a Nimbus plane right here, and this is at the hangars at LSIA. Now, I don't know whether these are two brand new characters or whether they're just two generic NPCs that we're just going to see in one cutscene. They might not even be allowed on the plane, because it looks like the guy here to the left is a security guard. But the reason I think they're showing us this is because I think this is how you get to Cayo Perico. I think that you have to go to the airport, and I think it's going to be some kind of mission icon that you step into. There's going to be an icon, and you step into it, and it's going to ask you, do you want to travel to Cayo Perico? And you hit yes, and you just get teleported there. I don't think it's a thing where you just get on the plane and you just fly down south and then this island there. I think the area can only be accessed by a mission icon. At least that's what I think. Now, moving on here, we see this picture here. We see the logo, Grand Theft Auto Online, the Cayo Perico heist, and we see a greater view of the island, of what the island looks like here. And this looks like the cartel-controlled side of the island, because we can see guard towers. We see some water towers, some shacks, and some cranes. So this kind of maybe looks like a dockyard here on the left side. Moving on here, we see a picture of a party. So there's a DJ, and there's a party going on here. And this is the same place that we had in the previous trailers where we kind of saw this, like, you know, tent thing area. I don't know what it's called, but it's used for parties. So we see DJ here, a bunch of people partying, and we see this guy here, probably another DJ, reading off of his board, and he says, we have one man to thank for this, and then this guy appears right here, his back is turned, and the game really focuses on him for a few seconds, so leads me to believe that this guy is pretty important. And who do I think this guy is? I think this guy is El Rubio. You know, at first when I watched this trailer, I was like thinking, is this really El Rubio? But then when I look back on it and they say, we have this one guy to thank for this, and if you look at it, his hair is actually blonde. And that's actually pretty important because El Rubio in Spanish actually means the blonde. So is this the cartel boss? And if this is the cartel boss, I'm pretty concerned for this. And the reason I'm concerned for this is because I want a really good villain. Because if we're supposed to be robbing the most dangerous cartel boss in the world, to me, this guy doesn't seem that dangerous. At least from what I've seen. Maybe it's all just for show, but when I think of a really dangerous cartel boss, I think of somebody like Sosa in Scarface. Somebody that looks like a businessman on the outside, but on the inside is extremely cold, calculated, ruthless, extremely manipulative, very intimidating and scary. And I'm just not getting those, I'm not getting those same feelings from this guy here. So, you know, at least for me, I personally hope that this guy is not El Rubio, because he doesn't seem scary to me, but like I said, it could all just be a show, and this guy might have a completely different personality to him. But also another thing is, I think it will be kind of weird for El Rubio to be showing up at parties if he's this big cartel boss, because what I think is, my theory is, I think that this island is a front. And I think that it's primarily used as for manufacturing drugs, but I think that the parties, it's probably used as a resort island. So it's disguised as a resort island, an island where you can go and party and, you know, hang out, but in reality, it's really a drug-making island. That's at least what I think. But the issue is that if you're this big-time drug lord, even if you were using the island as a front and you were using it as a resort, you would not show yourself in public. You know, a big drug lord would not want to bring public attention to themselves. They wouldn't show up in public. You know, that's one of the things that messed up Al Capone. Al Capone, who was the biggest, you know, gangster in U.S. history, one of the reasons that the feds went after him was because he loved the celebrity status. He loved being in the newspapers. He loved giving interviews, you know, he loved people taking pictures of him, and all that attention eventually got the feds onto him, and it didn't work out for him. So in reality, you know, a big-time crime boss would not want to bring public attention to themselves. I know maybe I'm going a little too deep into this, but I'm just, you know, trying to analyze it that, you know, we have this big cartel boss that we're dealing with, and, you know, he's acting kind of weird. Moving on here, we have, this is English Dave. He has a different haircut. I'm not sure what his role could be in this DLC. Maybe he just appears in the club, which right here, we have a picture of the new club. So this is what the new club looks like. This is part of the Diamond Casino. So this is going to be that new renovated area on the side. And over here, we have a picture of a new character. And at first, I was thinking that could this actually be Tracy? Tracy DeSanta? I don't know. We'll have to see. The reason that I thought that it was Tracy, because, you know, she sounded familiar at first, and also because you gotta also remember that GTA Online takes place in 2020 now, so we're now, you know, 7 years in the future, so she is gonna be older. You know, they have pretty much confirmed it with several DLCs that, you know, we are past the main story at this point, way past it. So GTA Online takes place in the future right now, so it's entirely possible this could be Tracy, or it could just be a new NPC, but I just wanted to keep that in mind. Right here, we have an image of the new DJ, Moody Man. This is his name, and, you know, he's gonna bring us new music into this game, you know, as well as, you know, all the new songs that Rockstar promised in this DLC. Over here, we have a picture of the side of the island, and we can see a guard tower here, and we can see a sniper. And as you guys know, the few missions that snipers do appear in, they're very annoying. They shoot you a few times, they damage your health, they're extremely accurate, so I'm assuming that hopefully there's a way to get rid of these guys quietly, but we can see this island has a lot of defenses on it. Moving on here, we see a picture of, this is clearly a player character, so this is an online character accessing a computer, and then in the next frame here, they're accessing the computer. This looks like possibly a new hacking game, Print Cloner VR 1.0. Maybe you're stealing some kind of files, rerouting it to a different computer, but there's not a lot of information here. It just looks like we're going to be doing some kind of new hacking minigame on the computer. Now, these next few pictures are extremely important. I think they're the most important in the entire trailer. So here we see a player character wearing a duffel bag. This is probably in the finale of the heist, so this is like right at the end of the heist. And I'm guessing this is probably in a stealth approach, considering that the gun that the character is holding has a suppressor, and it looks like they're wearing one of those vests that you traditionally had in the multiplayer. You know, they would be on specific, you know, CEO outfits. And the most important here is right here on the right side with this helicopter. Now, that's a new helicopter that we have in the game, but we see a player rappelling from the helicopter. And this is really important because we were able to rappel in previous helicopters. Like, for instance, you're able to rappel inside the Maverick, and I think you can also rappel inside the Annihilator, but you can't do it in every single helicopter. So this new helicopter has a rappel feature, which is definitely interesting, and I hope that they bring it to more helicopters in the future. Here, this is really important. We have a grappling hook, and how this basically works is you throw this over a wall, you throw this over some kind of structure, it hooks on, and then you just basically climb on top of the rope. That is how this works. Now, my question is, are we going to be able to use this outside of the heist? Is this only for, you know, specific walls? Or are we going to be able to use this to climb other walls in the future? Because if we actually had a grappling hook that we could use in GTA Online, you know, different buildings, I think that would be actually really useful for getting up on certain structures. Moving on here, we have a picture of some kind of cellar. So this looks like some kind of underground area. And this is probably where El Rubio keeps his most precious valuables. And we see a player character, and they are opening up the glass. I don't know what this device is called right here, but we see this device in a lot of movies, you know, especially like burglary movies, heist movies. How this basically works is this is kind of like this glass cutter. You basically put it on the glass, and then you spin the wheel, and it basically creates a nice hole in the glass. And the idea of this is that you can cut through the glass without having to smash it, and you can quietly take what's on the other side. So, judging by the fact that they're using this gadget, I'm assuming that this is the stealth approach, because on the loud approach, you wouldn't care because you're already detected, so you would just smash the glass and take it. And we also see this valuable here. We see some kind of rare exotic animal that looks like it's gold and has some kind of diamonds on it, so probably worth a lot of money. Now this guy here, this guy is the new contact in the DLC. This is the guy that gives you the new missions. You know, I didn't get that much of an impression on him. You know, the only thing, you know, he seemed to talk about was the submarine and that he wants you to rob this island. Other than that, you know, not much of an impression on this guy. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what this guy is like more in the DLC, but not too much information on him. Here we have a picture of the submarine. This is probably going to be the command center. This is probably going to be the place where you plan out the heist on. Now, question is whether you can move the submarine or not. I don't think you're going to be able to move it like a vehicle. I think it's going to be more like the yacht, where you just, you know, you move it to certain spots, it automatically moves. You maybe have a little cutscene where it moves around the sides of the island. Here we have a greater view of the submarine, and this is why it leads me to believe that this is probably where you plan out the heist. I strongly believe this is where you plan out the heist. Now, the question is going to be whether we are going to have to purchase the submarine. Is the game going to force us to purchase the submarine? Because I'm going to tell you, if we have to purchase the submarine, this does not look cheap at all. This looks like it could be one of the most expensive things in GTA Online, or it might just be provided to us. We're going to have to wait and see. But it's the exact same interior as in the Bogdan heist. So it's the exact... pretty much the exact same interior, very similar. We see one character on a periscope. We see that's a scope where you can see on the outside of the submarine. We see one character in the middle there near the board. That is probably where they're planning out certain actions. And then we see a few characters near computers. Now this one right here, we see a character near a computer, missile active. And then in the next frame here, we actually see the missile firing. And we were wondering about how these missiles would work exactly. And you see right here, this is from the missile. So I'm pretty confident that when you fire this missile, it's probably going to be a remote-controlled missile, and then you can control it, and you can hit a vehicle or hit targets and it blows up. Question is, how powerful is this missile, and how often can you fire it? Moving on here, we have a pretty important picture. Now, this is really important. This shows us a map of the island. But we see kind of these dots on the island. And I'm really wondering what these dots are exactly, because we see these dots and then we kind of see like arrows or triangles, and I see it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those arrows, which, you know, they could possibly be players, but I don't think they're players. I think they might be something else. Now look on the right side there. We see Madrazo files. Now Madrazo, that is Martin. And Martin is a pretty big cartel boss in the single player. My best guess is that Martin is going to give us a side activity. So this is probably a side activity. This is probably not part of the main heist, where you are going to either have to steal certain things or blow certain things up. Because think about it. If Martin is this big cartel boss and El Rubio is an even larger cartel boss, Martin would want him out of business. If El Rubio went out of business, this would be very beneficial for Martin. So think about it that way. Martin would probably pay you money to get rid of certain targets on the island. And then we have secondary targets, which those are probably the other arrows. Now, I'm not certain exactly what the secondary targets are, but these are probably at least side activities that you have to access on the island. That's at least what I think. And also, it looks like it's the same board of the submarine that the other player was looking at before. Moving on here, we have a picture of an attack boat. Now, this is a new vehicle. A lot of players have requested this, and I think a lot of players are really excited for this, and I'm excited for this, that we finally got an attack boat, and we can finally use something. Obviously, we're going to be able to use this in free mode, because if we were not able to use this in free mode, a lot of people would complain. And we see the back of this boat. So the back of this boat has a shield turret on the machine gun, heavy machine gun there, so multiple players can man turrets, both on the front and looks like on the back as well. Now, moving on here, we're wrapping this up, we see a player stealing gold. Now, this seems kind of weird. This actually might be one of the side activity locations. This might be right here. Because if you look at the surroundings, it's in a pretty weird area right now. Like, you have gold bars that are like in some shack right now. There's probably going to be, obviously, guards that are going to be protecting it, but why would the gold bars be in the middle of some shack? You know, wouldn't you think it would be in some kind of underground safe or, you know, in some kind of more fortified building, not in some, you know, shack? But we'll have to see. I think that how this might work is these might be random locations that we go to, and we might be able to find extra loot, but we'll have to see. And then here we have a picture of the new helicopter. We also see players inside the new helicopter. This is the new helicopter that you rappel from. It also says Marines on it, which leads me to believe that it's some kind of military helicopter, but it doesn't appear to have any kind of weapons on it, so it looks more like a transport helicopter. And then lastly here, we have a picture of the 3 DJs. So these are the 3 new DJs that we're going to get in this DLC. We have Moody Man there, and then the other DJs, what are their names here? Let me see what their names are. We have Berlin Collective, and then we have Palms Tracks. So those are the three DJs, Moody Man, Berlin Collective, and Palms Tracks, and they are all in the new Music Locker nightclub. But that is pretty much my breakdown there, guys. That's what I think of the DLC. Let me know down below what you guys think. If you guys enjoyed my video, drop a like. If you're new to my channel, enjoy my content, subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.